So, good day. Welcome, everyone, in today's webinar. My name is Martijn, and I'm here today with Tico. Today, we're going to review the Shopify editions. Because last week it was quite an exciting week. We had new announcements, more than 100. The way Shopify does it every year is, or every half year, is creating a website with a list of all the features. Super exciting, but yeah, we can imagine that it's quite hard to run through all of the new features announced. And we thought it would be interesting to run through them together and pick out 10 of the most exciting ones. 5 which are important for merchants, and 5 which are important for developers and people building on Shopify. If we go over to boosting conversion, it's one of the first. It's the one-page checkout. And I think, Tico, as long as we've been working with Shopify, it has been a 3-page checkout, essentially. And now Shopify announced a one-page checkout. Why is this exciting? I think because a lot of people have been waiting for this. Now, instead of having to reload to a next page, it's all in one page. So that will have positive impact on the conversion rates, definitely. But there have been some other updates announced regarding checkout. Maybe you can elaborate on that, Tico.
Yeah, so the current way, and maybe starting from next year, the previous way of editing the checkout will be the checkout.liquid way, where we would edit code directly into the checkout.liquid and then change the styling and the appearance and add elements from there. But this new checkout update will replace the full checkout.liquid. This is a vision that Shopify has been pushing to much more or driving in that direction recently. This will mean that the checkout.liquid will be depreciated, and then everyone will need to update at the end to the new checkout. This will come with some nice updates, so we will have more flexibility and everything will be API based, and we have more stable checkout that for all merchants.
I think, Tico, maybe you can elaborate a bit more on the extensibility.
So previously, we would indeed have the checkout.liquid to add CSS or change the styling. We would use Shopify scripts to, for example, change like the price of a line item, or hide or show shipping methods or payment methods. This will also be replaced by Shopify functions and Shopify extensions. So with Shopify functions, we can change the backend functionality of Shopify. So this will totally replace Shopify scripts. The good thing about Shopify functions is that it's partly one of the good things about it is that you can maintain this in JavaScript. Before this, Shopify functions was built in Rust and Shopify scripts was in Ruby. So this is something that for our developers will be much easier to maintain like that. And what's also nice with these functions is that you can really easily create apps out of this, and apps can use these functions as well. So you can install, for example, a bundle app that you can then use to bundle products together and change the price of 3 products as one.
Yeah, I think one of the most exciting things is the hard part with the current checkout is that it's not that easy to adjust. When you want to adjust checkout, you have to do custom coding in Liquid. And now you can use a drag and drop like you're used to in the customizer. The most vital part of your store, obviously, is the e-commerce platform. And you don't want to mess that up. And with this drag and drop functionality, it will make it easier to adjust the checkout without breaking it or having the risk to break the checkout.
Yeah, and on top of that, with the previous checkout, whenever Shopify would push an update, all merchants would get a certain amount of time to update their checkout to the newest version. And with this one-page checkout, the Shopify can automatically update to the newest version. So there's no development time need to update it. So whenever there's a bug or a new feature, you will get directly access to this.
Yeah, then I think another interesting one, and we've all been hearing about ChatGPT 3, AI generated text. I was quite amazed how quick Shopify was with launching this tool and integrating it in their platform. So they actually integrated it in two ways. One is, as you can see here on the screen, they provided a way how you can have Shopify writing your product descriptions. Obviously, you don't want a computer to write the whole text for you, or just blindly copy paste it, but it can be a great start of your text. Yeah, I would definitely say take it for a spin, try it out, because it's a way to improve your workflow, making it easier to create content. And I think it's even possible for your storefront content as well. So let's say titles, about pages, stuff like that. Shopify also announced that now with Shopify Flow, one of the Shopify Plus apps, you can also connect to ChatGPT 3, to have Shopify flows interacting with ChatGPT 3 and getting back information from the AI generation tool. Yeah, then I think it's our fifth point already, and that's the product bundles. So, as some of you know, product bundling has been quite a pain in the ass with Shopify. There were tons of apps which helped you create product bundles. And the goal of product bundling is obviously to increase your average order value and eventually your revenue, getting more revenue from your customers. So in the past, you would have third-party apps. Those were okay-ish. In some cases, they did what you needed them to do. Or what we did most often was build custom bundling apps.
So we would build that, for example, in Shopify scripts, we would have code to maintain a product price or bundle products together and then give a discount on the full bundle. I would say that solution works, but this is all maintained in code. So we would write that, but then when for example, the client or merchant would want to create a new bundle or change the price or change the discount, this will be like maintained from the code directly, which of course is not user friendly. If you see this update on the page, this is one of the great options with Shopify functions. So Shopify here announced their official Shopify Bundles app. So no third party and of course free to use. What is really exciting about this is, I think if you look on the right screen, so you see the checkout where these products are actually bundled together. So you see one price instead of multiple line items that have all have their unique price within a discount on top of it. And then, like they said here, is that we can use, or third-party tools can use Shopify functions to create their own more custom apps. What is good about that is, of course, if you just have a simple bundle solution, you can just use the Shopify app. And if you have something really custom with a lot of functionality behind it, you can build this yourself or go on the Shopify App Store and install out of like another tool to use this.
I think this is something they should have put into the basic product like years ago. I think it's a tool which has a lot of potential for a lot of brands. Imagine if you're selling sneakers, it would be great if you also sell socks, that you can always offer the right size in the matching colors with it, and it's a nice upsell. So in case you're not using bundles yet, I would definitely advise you to think about how you can utilize it for your brand to generate a higher average order value. And after you thought about that, then probably it's time to sign up for the early access to ensure you're one of the first to being able to use this new feature. So it's good to understand that in general, Shopify announces all these features during the different editions. This is the Winter Edition of 23. Some of the features are first rolled out in the US, but most of them are available to all Shopify merchants, unless stated otherwise. Yeah, so I think we talked about the boost conversion topics, and as you can see, there are 9 different topics. We won't have time to dive deeper in all of them, but I think the next important topic to talk about, in our opinion, is about going global, because this is a known challenge for Shopify, or it has been a known challenge for Shopify in the past, especially if you're running a store with the ambition to sell multiple languages in multiple regions with different warehouses. I think it was super exciting to see that they officially announced Translate and Adapt.
Yeah.
I think, Tico, you and the team have been working already for more than half a year with this app. You found it in the App Store, I think.
Yeah, there was actually, we were already building a couple of multilingual Shopify stores where we use Shopify Markets for this. The only thing was that we didn't really know how to edit all the content yet, and we were kind of waiting for the solution that wasn't uploading a CSV. And then actually one of our clients sent us a message that he found this Shopify app, official Shopify app, to change the translations, and it was launched 2 days before that, and it was kind of like a secret launch by Shopify because they didn't really announce it. But we were, of course, super stoked when this came out. We directly started using it.
Yeah, especially because in the past you had a couple of options for multi-language stores. So one is setting up separate Shopify instances. The second one is using a translation app, which in most of the times add quite some JavaScript to the front end and have a negative impact on performance. And the way we would translate a couple of months ago, when the Translate APIs were open, was by using a CSV file, and that was not optimal. And now with the Translate and Adapt app, we have an interface for translation, so that's great. So regarding the Translate and Adapt app, definitely in some cases you might be running multiple language stores, let's say separate stores. And probably it's time to consider, like, I prefer to have a single store with multi-language in there, and then definitely check out the Translate and Adapt app. And I think another one which was quite big is the Markets Pro. Previously, you had a tool called Global E. Some people might know it. It's essentially a company which helps you to streamline your fulfillment processes, tax processes, multi-currency, in some cases multi-language. And it was essentially a layer over your existing store. For some brands who sell globally, it was a solution they really required, but it was not the most optimal solution, let's say. Also, if you would run a Shopify store back in the days and use Global E, you wouldn't utilize the Shopify checkout, so-called checkout hijacking. And I think that the reason why people choose for Shopify is because the checkout is so powerful and so stable. And I think last year, or maybe already longer, Shopify started a close collaboration with Global E, and now they have integrated it fully in the checkout. And it's called Shopify Markets Pro. On the one hand, you have Shopify Markets, which is a way how you can define different markets, different languages, different currencies within your store. With the Markets Pro, it seems like they're offering an extra layer of service, which includes ensuring that the right tax is paid before shipping it over to the final consumer. It's also about ensuring that there's no exchange rate risks for you as a merchant. So actually, they take care of some of the things you don't want to think about as a merchant. We're curious to see how people are using it and what it can bring to the merchants. It looks promising because it takes away some of the hassle where merchants don't want to think about. So in case you tried it out and you had some positive results, make sure to reach out to us and share your experiences.
I think in general, the whole Shopify editions, there's a lot of updates, and a lot of the updates are also developer focused. I think we saw this at Shopify Unite as well in London, that Shopify is really investing in the people building on Shopify and everyone around the ecosystem. I think, one big update that gets people around our offers really excited is, of course, the Hydrogen update, and in this case, Hydrogen 2. They acquired Remix to improve their headless stack.
Yeah, so I think it's exciting to see that they announced Hydrogen 2, and I think this is the more mature Hydrogen as of they released last year. And Hydrogen is essentially a way for Shopify where they say, like, this is the way we want you to build headless stores. So it's like combining the power of Shopify as the e-com system and combining it with the power of a headless front end. But this time it's hosted by Oxygen, and that's also a Shopify service. So it's Hydrogen and Oxygen, and Hydrogen 2 is powered by Remix.
Yeah. So it's a framework that they will use. This will offer just a storefront and improve the performance and nested routing. And I think in general, Remix is quite known for their speed, so like the site speed for the end product.
And I think it's super cool to see that one of the first projects we actually did on Hydrogen is featured here. So we did the collaboration between Pata and Tommy Hilfiger. And it's super cool that it's featured here as a showcase. It was a great project. And it was also a great way for our team to experience a real life Hydrogen project. I know the team is already working on a Hydrogen 2 project. I heard some good feedback, Tico. I think the developer experience increased even more.
Yeah.
And where we in the past would need to define or build some of the API connections, most of it is already out of the box with Hydrogen 2. So that's quite exciting. And like you said in the beginning, Tico, it's like the focus on the developer community has increased. I think this will definitely help Shopify to grow further. In the end, it's the developers who build on the platform. And if you get the developers excited, there are more who can build on it.
Last year, Shopify, I think it was already 2 years ago, they released integrated meta fields, which was really good for us and any merchant to add new data points to products and collections, and then use this in the filter and just showcase extra data on the product page, for example. Then with these meta objects, we can then define objects of different meta fields. So for example, this example is like a sale banner, where you can then say, well, a sale banner has a image, a title, a link to a sale page, and a description. And then we can define a rule for this. And then a merchant can create this object based on our rules and insert the data. And that can then be showcased on different places on the store. So for example, if you for example, create different products that are designed by different designers, you can create a designer object, which is similar with like some information about the designer, maybe a link to his page, to a collection page. And of course, you want to showcase this content on the product page of whoever's product is designed by this designer, but also on the collection page and maybe on a designer overview page. In the previous setup, we would have to maintain this on a single page level or product level. So you would have all this data. It's technically the same data. You would have to maintain this on 4 different places. Now we can do that in one place and then show that throughout the whole shop. So the data at the end is more centralized and it's easier to maintain.
This is a bit of a mysterious one, but it's definitely an exciting one. As you all know, Shopify started more than a decade ago, and they focused back in the days on the small merchants. That's what they're still doing, and it works super well. But during the years, Shopify kept growing, And also the merchants running on Shopify kept on growing. The real large merchants, they were saying, Shopify is not the right pick. It's not flexible enough. It doesn't offer what we need. I think now I'm quite confident to say that Shopify is ready to take on any merchant, especially with commerce components, which they introduced. For us, it's not 100% clear yet what how this differs from the hydrogen builds, but it seems to be very promising. Shopify says that commerce components is focused on merchants with a revenue which is higher than 100 million. So I'm curious to see like what commerce components can bring. How we understand it is that you can pick the best or the points, the elements, the components you need for your store and combine them with your existing stack. Curious to see what's gonna happen with this. Now, some of the biggest, let's say, advisors like Deloitte Digital, Accenture, and EY are global partners for this. So it seems they have big plans. Yeah, we're super excited for this because we truly believe that Shopify can power any business globally. We come to the end. It was the 10th feature we wanted to show you. It was just a general run through to show you the things we liked in this update. I would advise anyone being a merchant or a builder on Shopify, developer, take a close look and see what the new updates can do for you. So thanks a lot. If you have any questions or you want to share some of the things you've seen in the Shopify editions this time, hit us up, send an email to phil@askphill.com or just post something in the comments.